Hey there, Internet. Welcome back to the Three-Way Podcast. This is now day 3, 4. I don't know which day is actually going up yet, so we'll figure that out later. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about superheroes from comics because we are just that bored and crazy. We're going to debate on who the best superhero is.
YOLO!
With me today is...
Shawn.
Mike.
Victoria. Catherine.
And, of course, you know me by now, Aaron. So let's get started. Who's going to debate for which hero? Let's figure that out. I'm going with the main man, Tony Stark, because he's clearly the best hero ever made, and I will explain why as we go on with the debate here, but let's figure out who everyone's going for first.
I'll go with Dr. Manhattan, and I'll just make up some stuff and
Captain Nuke, okay then.
see what happens there.
I'll go with the Kyle Rayner version of Green Lantern.
Oh, going with the third choice, not the Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan, huh?
What do you mean third choice?
Well, no, he's the third Green Lantern, unless you count Alan Scott.
Actually, he's the second. He came in after Hal Jordan did. Jon Stewart and Guy Gardner came after Kyle.
I could have sworn Jon Stewart was second, but okay.
No, it depends. If you're talking about Justice League, but in the actual Green Lantern mythos, Kyle Rayner was actually brought in while Hal Jordan was still was turning into Parallax.
Okay, the fact that you know more than me about this makes me think you might win this debate.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to win this one, just based off of sheer knowledge of canon.
Fair point. Okay, who are the other two? Do we have other heroes we're going to throw in this mix here?
Batman.
Okay, we got an argument for Batman
I can
here.
name a superhero. Yes.
I wasn't pre-warned about this apparently, so now I'm just coming up with one on the fly. Well, let's go with my reserved favorite, which is Deadpool.
It's gonna be a tough one to beat too.
Just saying. Granted, I know no canon, so it's that.
Well, we're allowed to pull source material from the movies, the cartoons, comics, whatever anything.
Yeah, but
as
the
long
only movie Deadpool's been in was the
Yes,
Wolverine
Deadpool movies.
However,
will negate it.
and games. However, if any information conflicts with existing information from the comics, they won't be used. So yeah, just warning everyone now.
Okay.
I don't know what all of it's gonna be. It's conflicting. So yeah.
That and the fact that who knows if it's going to be conflicting. You've got to have great.
I imagine
knowledge.
if Jim from work listens to this, or if anyone else who actually reads comics listens to this, they'll probably be able to point out all the flaws in our arguments.
I wish this was a radio show and they could just call in and be like,
that would be
"You
fantastic.
sons of bitches."
I actually will put this on.
I feel like we should call up Russell, but he turned off his phone.
Yeah, he's in Jamaica.
Is that a boat?
Is it Jamaica?
I don't know.
Okay, I know he's on a cruise somewhere.
Either way, he's on a cruise, so he's surrounded by old people. And water.
There's no escape from the old people.
Except the
water.
We're just filled with sharks.
But then you wouldn't have your boat.
That's true. Unless you got a dinghy.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off by making opening statements here.
Okay.
The reason I think Tony Stark or Iron Man is the best superhero ever is because he's probably the most intelligent hero out there. You know, he's always thinking of new ways to take down bad guys, even before the new bad guys with the ability to take him out come up to beat him. He was always advancing his armor, and lately, and the most recent iterations of comics, not the new reboot, but just before that, I think they actually made an armor for him that was inside of him that he could just have turn up on his skin. I mean, he's advanced the technology so far, he's just beyond crazy intelligent there. So that's sort of why I'm putting him as #1 hero of all time, ever.
I'll go with
Captain
Dr.
Nuke.
Manhattan. Yep, okay, sure, Captain Nuke. Pretty much, one of the main reasons is from the end of Watchmen, with how he decided to leave the planet and just leave them. And sure, it was under a lie, but it let them have peace. That it was he, made all these bombs and blew shit up, so that everyone, would kind of work together to defend against something like that happening again.
So you're saying that he's your favorite because he offered himself up as a martyr?
Sure. In a way that just made, now there's peace.
To be fair, though, a lot of heroes have offered themselves up as martyrs before.
But did it end
True.
in peace?
Opening statements. Come on.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
But we'll do rebuttals.
I just wanted to make sure his statement was clear to give just argument against it.
Yeah. Shawn got it kicked up and I just jumped in, so... So, anything else you want to add?
That opening statements, man.
I was really that's right after your opening fucking statement.
No, that was my opening statement.
Okay. Next.
I know nothing about comic books, guys. This is
Well,
It's
go off the
Batman.
movies. Have you
Just
seen the
say some
movies?
things.
I haven't
Any of
seen
them?
many of the movies either. I know.
Go off that and what's Batman? Just do it.
I know he's angry because his parents are dead. So
He didn't
pure
used to be
revenge.
so angry.
It took a bullet for
Pure
the parents.
revenge, just pure raw anger, makes him awesome. I guess
Because Batman.
because Batman.
Is
That's
that
my
your
that's
name?
my opening statement. Batman. Yes.
I will go with Green Lantern just because his power is only limited by his will as well as his imagination. So take that, you and your technology. What? I don't need to know how to make an arc reactor. I just have to think of it.
But you have to know how it works before you can actually make it, though.
You know?
I'm pretty sure
You're ranked
Opening
power.
statements, guys.
Hey,
Calm down.
He brought it up.
Calm
He
down.
brought it up.
Opening statements. I kind of feel bad that no one's throwing a chick out there. I almost want to change my answer to Jean Grey.
I'd almost go with Rogue over Jean, but yeah.
Oh, no.
No.
So
She
bad.
can take any power if she
So
wants.
bad.
Opening
To be fair,
Bad.
the reason I'd go for Jean Grey is almost solely based on the Dark Phoenix saga.
Mm.
Because it's just awesome. But I don't know,
She's
I would argue
wondering.
Deadpool for like 3 reasons. 1, guns. 2, awesome costume and choice of color. And 3, snarkiness. Who may only be rivaled in snarkiness by Tony Stark. Just saying. But maybe. I think he's much snarkier and
Well,
wittier
yeah.
than Tony Stark. But yeah, I mean, which obviously was not brought out in the only movie that Deadpool was in, which I'm bitter about, and I think that I've said that on this podcast before.
To be fair, though, he has been in a couple animated movies, so we have seen him
I haven't
out
seen
there
that.
somewhere.
And he was in a lot of games, too.
Yeah.
Like
The
in Marvel
games-
vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
And he's got his own game coming out by High Moon Studios next year, I
Yay.
think. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, the trailer for that was pretty cool. And at the most recent Comic-Con, I read that they had some guy in costume from the studio out there promoting the game,
Nice.
which was pretty fun to watch on YouTube.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can I debate myself between Deadpool and Jean Grey?
Going for the 2-for-1 game.
I don't know. I would also say that Jean Grey, if I would go for her, that she can be selfless as Jean Grey. Dark Phoenix, not so selfless. Just saying.
A little selfish there, huh?
No, a little bit. But I don't know. I'll stick with Deadpool.
All right.
We can have a completely misogynistic group here.
All right. So let's see. So how do you want this debate to go? Do you just want to kind of make points back and forth, or?
Sure.
Alright.
I've already challenged the technological know-how of Iron Man, so why don't we go
Well,
ahead and go with that? Let's
Okay.
argue
Well,
that.
you say you're limited by imagination, and willpower. It is
Mhm.
technically so am I. You know, I can only create what I can imagine, what I'm willing to build, and therefore.
That's true, but you also have to have the technology for it. Green Lantern is able to create alien technologies that he's only been able to see without having the technical know-how.
Tony
Tony Stark is limited by the resources that are on Earth.
Yeah.
You were okay.
Well, what he said, he has to have the materials to build it as well.
True, but
Green
the-
Lantern does not.
True, but at the same time, though, he's advanced technology to the point where it can almost rival alien technology simply because he's the one who pushes it forward that much.
It can, but there's always somebody better. So,
On different planets, maybe, but on Earth, very few, if any. So.
and since Green Lantern has the core behind him, he has knowledge of all these alien technologies. So, even the superior ones.
Fair point. But
Let's hear your counterpoint.
oh, I've made a counterpoint now, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good counterpoint. You say
Or
something.
let's even kind of spread this out then too. For Dr. Manhattan, he's kind of limited as well, and plus in his mythology, since Dr. Manhattan was used as a nuclear deterrent, a lot of their technology was actually stuck back in the 70s, which is why Nixon was still president and they were stuck back then. So even though he is his own nuclear time bomb, the technology that he created wasn't as advanced as either Iron Man or in the Green Lantern.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say here, because if I'm just going solely with Dr. Manhattan, he doesn't really
You have
need
to.
the
That's the one you picked.
He doesn't really need the technology because he can just explode whatever he wants.
Well, yeah, he can create matter, but I mean, as far as advancing the human race and protecting them, He can only explode himself and other people.
But the thing is, he did kind of safeguard the race because now they're going to stop killing each other just to defend against other things that might be like Dr. Manhattan.
Well, there will always be people trying to kill each other.
Yeah,
So,
but not to the extent of wars and genocide.
Now, see, that's debatable, though.
It's debatable. It might happen in the future, but
Because
for the foreseeable future, it'll be peaceful.
Well, okay, so yeah, for the foreseeable future, but let's go back to where Dr. Manhattan went to Mars and he tried to create his own planet. He basically tried to make himself into God. And then he came back here and he sacrificed himself much like Jesus did. So if you're going to go, so if we get this into a religious allegory, if we go into a religious allegory here too, religion is also seen as a deterrent against war. And look at how many wars we have now just based on religion itself.
We had, well actually I guess we do have a couple right now. But
Can I argue Jesus is my superhero?
Yeah, right. I would have gone with that if I had known.
There are comics about Jesus.
They're probably not very good.
Well, and even if there aren't comics about Jesus, there are definitely comics that show a Jesus-type figure, so you can argue that.
Hell, Superman's been argued as a Jesus-type figure numerous times, so...
True.
Sent in a capsule from space. Sure.
Scientologists will agree with that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to argue against your Dr. Manhattan bullshit because, in my opinion, I brought this up earlier with you before the debate, but he is just this overpowered, seemingly omnipotent figure who most society would never trust. They would never be able to go to him safely and be like, we want him to be our hero. Guys like Tony Stark, guys like Green Lantern even, they are out there, you can see their face, you can see them doing the heroics, and they're actually involved in it, caring about the people they're saving. Whereas their guy, he's just sort of detached from everything. Doesn't give a shit.
Quick question here, though. Are we arguing based off the likability of characters and why we think that they're the most entertaining to read, or are we debating based off of the potential they have to save humanity?
I'm going with the potential save humanity, even though they're both sort of tied together. So.
Then I need
because
to
then-
pick a new person.
well, you don't need to be likable to save humanity.
That's
And
true.
You don't have to be, but
Like,
it makes
that's
it
the very-
easier to work with people
That's
to
the
get
very
that
point
done.
of an anti-hero, too. Is that, because which some people would argue that Deadpool is.
He totally is an anti-hero. Maybe that's why I picked him.
I'm just saying it makes it easier for him to work with other people, whereas Manhattan really kind of can't.
And plus, Manhattan is even more soulless than anybody that you've met, too.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna make a choice, because if he all of a sudden, because he'd be, I'm kind of gonna go on a stretch here and equate Dr. Manhattan to like Brainiac or the
Ultron?
Ultron.
Okay.
Thank you. Where he kind of has such an advanced understanding that he finds that eventually he'll think that humanity is better off not being because of his soullessness and his logic.
Well, sure. I mean, he is so detached that there's that. But from everything I've seen, he does at least still have some bit of, humanity in him.
For
So,
now,
how
but that's
long?
deteriorating.
How long?
Okay, for now, but that might just
Especially if he
stop him
secludes
from
himself.
killing all humanity.
Plus, with the more evil guys come out all the time, we have Joker now, but who's to say the next
Escalation.
bad guy? Yeah, I mean, more bad guys like that come up, he's gonna be like...
Well, we can argue
fuck
that
you
for
guys.
everybody, though.
Yeah.
But he could just through his logic if someone turns bad, he can just wipe them out.
I don't know. Only to a certain point, I think.
Well, I'm gonna make another argument here. Who's to say that he should be judged during execution? Why should he just be able to kill everybody just without any question?
Well, if it's for the overall goal of safeguarding humanity, then is there really a big problem in this?
And who's to say he's got the right to make the decision every time?
Well, maybe he doesn't exactly have the right, but if he takes it upon himself to do this for the betterment of humanity...
Well,
How do we know it's better, though? How do
basically
we-
what Dr. Manhattan basically what Dr. Manhattan has created is a dictatorship.
Yes.
Okay.
If anything,
So fuck you!
But then again, at the same time, so is Tony Stark. Tony Stark basically created a dictatorship.
Through capitalism, though.
Through capitalism.
That makes it better.
Totally. Free market dictatorship right there.
With Tony's technology, isn't there always the problem of other people somehow getting a hold of that?
Dr. Doom,
Or
yes,
at least
he does have a
copying
lot.
the technology and then using it to cause harm?
What about your Green Lantern Corps? I mean, hell, the rings get taken away from some people. Sinestro got one, then he made his own rings. Like, hey, I got a new cord, bring it on.
That's true, but I mean that's gonna happen with anything. But I mean the thing that's nice about the Green Lantern Corps is that it isn't a dictatorship. It's an oligarchy.
Yeah.
That's only slightly better.
Although, Aaron, I have to ask, do you have a counterpoint for everyone stealing Tony's technology?
The fact that he always tries to make up for it and makes better technology to take out his old technology.
But that still creates all this strife, and who knows how many people get killed because of it.
You're one to talk, Mr. Let's nuke everything.
I never said nuke everything.
No, you're not saying that, but Dr. Manhattan might think that at some point.
At some point, maybe.
Oh, he already does.
He's just not willing to go for it just yet.
Exactly.
There
Well,
you
he
go.
did go for it at the end of the Watchmen, or at the end of the Watchmen in that comic section. He decided that loss of life wasn't worth punishing the one person who perpetrated it because it had a greater good. So therefore, he doesn't have the individual's mindset. So therefore, people are expendable.
Killing that number of people to save countless more people than that could be considered good. It's like doing
But there's
evil in the
no
name of
justification that it actually did, because basically Dr. Manhattan before was used as a deterrent because the Russians were like, well, Dr. Manhattan could just nuke us at any time, so we're not going to do anything. But then what Ozymandias does was he blew that up to stop the clock from counting down, thus stopping the Russians. So he deterred a war that hadn't yet happened.
Yeah, I feel like this is politics, and all we're really doing is just slinging mud at Mike and not really promoting our guys at all.
Well, I'd say I feel
Well,
like
I am tearing down Dr. Manhattan is what I am doing.
I feel like stopping a war that hasn't happened.
Which you
that
can't
we're-
estimate the loss of life based off what happened when there was a nuclear bomb set off in New York.
Right, but if you stop a war that is going to happen, isn't that better than stopping it after it starts?
Well, it depends. I mean, there have been wars that lasted 38 hours. So how many people died in 38 hours versus how many people were killed in that nuclear
Another way to
blast?
put it is, how do you feel about preemptive strikes half the time? Because, some people eventually declare those that's actually made problems worse than better in some cases. Look at Iraq.
It's just not a big enough preemptive strike.
I don't think that helps your argument at all.
Well, if you nuke someone before they can do anything, what are they going to do?
Everyone else will turn on you saying you broke rules of the Geneva Convention.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a slap on the wrist.
No, you'll probably get in prison for life.
But it's Dr. Manhattan. I mean, he does it for the greater good.
So
and
you're
people know that.
So you're saying he has the power to do anything, so we should just allow him to do anything.
Yes.
Again, creating a dictatorship.
It's a new religion with an active god.
See, at least Tony Stark manages to take himself out of that big I'm a god picture, because, he stepped into roles of political powership, he stepped into roles of, company ownership and all that stuff. He knows what his limitations are, whereas he's not going to go all out and say, I'm going to control everything. Or even attempt to be the most powerful. He's just kind of there. Not gotten it up and nuking everything like you are.
I like the fact that Tony Stark doesn't necessarily just use his powers for good, but uses his money for good, much like Batman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So using his money to better the world versus just using powers to stop wars. I mean, I don't know why I'm arguing for your character mostly.
I appreciate the assist.
But mostly because I don't know much about this guy over here, Dr. What's his name? Manhattan. I don't know much about him, so...
Also, another argument against you guy. Why does he never wear pants?
The flailing wang is also a problem.
pair-
It's always a problem.
A pair of pants, a decent pair of pants!
Even a loincloth, I'd accept that at the very least.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with that. He could use a pair of pants. But he did wear a suit, and he looked alright in that suit.
That's
Solomon
true.
Grundy want pants too.
Alright, let's get off of Dr. Manhattan for a
Because
little bit.
it's getting a little easy to go after him
Yeah,
anymore.
Can
yeah.
we talk about Solomon
So
Grundy?
that's-
Oh, we haven't heard from Deadpool or Batman, though.
That's true. That's true.
Batman.
Hi. I don't know. I don't have much of an argument.
Well, say something.
Something.
To argue for Batman.
I don't know what to argue for Batman.
Adam West was the greatest Batman.
True.
We're just now arguing for Batman. Go ahead.
Well, no, that's all I have to say about that.
He's a motherfucking bat
No, it's not.
man.
So the argument for Batman is he's Batman.
Yes.
He's Batman.
I'm
Okay,
Batman.
okay.
He does.
He's Batman.
Well, okay, well, let's go with this because just like Tony Stark has all of his gadgets and his technology, so does Batman.
Indeed.
Batman was rich.
Oh, you're opening the door for me to throw something in there?
Yeah, I'm opening.
If we're
I'm
looking
opening
at
discourse
similar
through this.
characters in this argument, Iron Man, Batman are the two.
What makes one
most-
better than the other?
I would say that
Tony Stark's alcoholism.
Hey,
That
he
makes it
overcame
worse.
that. He overcame
It makes
that.
him more human, but it definitely does kind of.
He has overcome that though on multiple occasions. So
Yeah.
I didn't
Mul-
know
okay,
he had-
if he overcomes it on multiple occasions, that means he keeps going back to it, which means he never overcame it in the first place.
Where's your coin?
It's
Where's
a
your
regression.
coin?
Yes.
So, but the same thing that happens, he kills people.
fair enough.
Batman does his best not to.
Also, Batman really bad at keeping a secret.
Okay. Yeah, he is.
Tony Stark doesn't even bother with the secret. He's like, whatever.
True, which then does endanger the
Neither
people
one of
around
you
him.
were.
Yeah.
Neither one of these.
Not
guys
as
are
often as
subtle.
you'd think, though.
Just-
Not as much as it should.
But no, like going on the Batman thing, they're like, sure, he doesn't kill any of his bad guys, but at the same time, how many of them keep rotating through the prison system and getting out the next day and like, hey, let's just go murder another 20 people with a school bus full of children or something like that, huh?
But that shouldn't be taken as far as Batman's fault.
Yeah,
I mean, that should be
that's
taken
the-
as Arkham Asylum.
Oh, I'm not blaming Batman. I'm just saying, you make this argument about it,
Because
but
he's persistent. You gotta say that
Yeah,
for
he
him.
does recapture them, and at the same time, it's not as if he wants or tries to help them or lets them get out. It's more that just the system in the city that he's trying to make better is already so corrupt that this stuff happens.
So let me ask you this then: are you taking over her Batman role for her?
Yes.
Sure.
We're a team now. Dr.
Since
Manhattan
Dr.
and
Manhattan has already been smacked down.
Dr.
Dr.
Bathattan.
Dr. Manhattan is a
Dr.
goat.
Manhattan.
Oh God.
Would we consider both Iron Man and Batman to be vigilantes? Do you think?
Well,
Yes.
pretty much every superhero character starts off as a vigilante.
Yeah, they do.
Well, except for Deadpool, he's an assassin.
He
He's a
mercenary
mercenary.
assassin, yeah.
Yeah. And he pretty much remains mercenary.
I would
he
actually
goes
make
back
the
and
argument that
forth.
Iron Man is more of a government-based hero because after a while he does become head of Shield. He does end up actually working close with the government. So
True.
I'd say he's become more of a soldier over the years than anything else.
You know, this isn't good for me, but there was something for
Where's your
Iron Man
legal?
for Iron Man that is slightly better than Batman.
Why are you
No. One part. I'm just bringing it up because
You're arguing
He
against
lost. He's a
yourself.
mercenary now. He's Deadpool of
Hey,
this group.
hey. Keep it over here.
Iron Man does help out more than just his area. He
Yeah.
tries to help out as
He tries to go all over the world with that stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
Granted,
Green Lantern goes across the galaxy.
Well, hey, I would go. Iron Man would go across the galaxy, but don't have the brain power to do that.
Wait, you don't have a what to do that? You don't have a what to do that?
he doesn't have a gay.
You don't have something that my character has?
I don't wear bling. What can I say?
What about the fact that Green Lantern can run out of power?
Oh yeah.
What about the fact that Green Lantern was played by Ryan Reynolds?
Oh.
So was Deadpool. Just saying.
Yeah, but at the same time,
And they both sucked.
You thought I was gonna hit?
he was better.
Kinda.
He was
I know
better
how
as
much you
Deadpool.
love
I'll give him
Deadpool.
that.
He was better as Deadpool because he didn't talk.
That sucked.
No,
How is that better?
There
when he
was a
doesn't
segment at
talk?
the beginning of that movie where he did talk. That was
Yeah,
the only
and
thing
that
he was in.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Sure.
When they tried to make him into Weapon 23, it's like, get it because he can't talk.
Laser beams. The laser beams pissed me off. Like, where the hell did that come from? I mean, I know where it came from in the movie, but why did they just tack that on? That was stupid.
Because who doesn't like laser beams?
Anyway,
I
sorry I
don't
brought
like
up.
Cyclops. is what
I'm sorry I brought up Ryan Reynolds.
You should never be sorry for that.
Oh, shit. It's true.
So I think someone should bring up a new
Oh.
point about one of their people.
And by the way, you talked about Green Lantern having to recharge his ring.
Yeah.
In more recent comics, you never see him charge the ring, so that's kind of gone out the window in recent canon.
See.
Uh.
You may have to charge a ring every now and then, and I don't know about the newer
Well, a
comics.
lot of the rings are now more closely linked up to the central power battery, so they don't need their own portable one half the time.
Meanwhile, though, arc reactor never goes out. Endless supply of energy.
Actually, it does.
In the older comics, I know it did, but I don't think
Yeah.
it does in the newer ones anymore, does it?
I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, so we both have infinite
That's
energy
kind
now.
of
Let's go with
interesting.
that.
That's kind of interesting though too, because does his energy get drained the more stuff he plugs into it?
I think it does, or at least it's like a processor kind of thing. If you put too much stuff on the processor, your computer components just fuck up after a while.
True. true.
It's like having a bunch of tabs open in Google Chrome.
Well, the thing about your suit is it's technology, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So an EMP couldn't that kind of take out your suit?
I would imagine by this point he's
before.
built. I would imagine at some point he's built a countermeasure for EMPs. I mean, I'm sure he built that way long ago, knowing this is a mechanical thing. An EMP just might take this out.
Yeah, shielding. But he can't upgrade his arc reactor since that's also a mechanical thing too. EMPs can also shut down power sources.
Yeah.
True, I'm sure he's built some kind of protective thing for that, is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, like, what would you build that would protect against an EMP? 'Cause
Yeah,
that just
especially
takes
when
I
he's
don't know
outside of his
technology.
suit.
I couldn't
Like,
tell you
I
that.
understand when he's in his suit that would work, but when you have Tony Stark just by himself, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then for you, the ring, doesn't yellow cancel out the green for some reason?
Not anymore, no.
So what cancels out
That actually hasn't been for years.
So what's the ring's weakness now? Because I know it used to be wood way back when it first started.
The people wielding them. It was organic material back when it started and yellow.
Okay.
And then now it's basically the person themselves.
So
Yellow what? Just yellow?
The color yellow, yeah, just the color yellow.
well, because
Fuck you, son!
So in other words, if something can affect the guy with the ring, then it kind of just nullifies the whole...
It doesn't
process.
nullify it, it weakens them a lot, but the same thing can be said of anybody, of Batman, of Deadpool, and of Iron Man too. Because if there's something that weakens them that takes away their conviction, then...
Well,
Like, if Deadpool loses his funding to go kill someone...
see, but here's the thing.
Because I don't have unlimited funding, unlike everybody else in this room.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
doesn't need funding.
Iron Man's will isn't so easily shaken. He's an arrogant son of a bitch. It's hard to knock him off his pedestal of awesome.
Not always.
It's easy with a gun. Just saying.
yeah. The thing...
I mean, it's a little easier to shake up Batman because it's happened a lot, but Iron Man's a little harder to shake him. I mean, when he was alcoholic for that brief period of time back in Demon in the Bottle, whatever that little arc was there, yeah, but after he got over that...
Which he keeps regressing to, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, I sort of want to go back to this idea of the fact that Iron Man thinks globally, and you think intergalactically, and but the thing is, like with Batman, just like with Superman and many other DC comics, the world is kind of like Gotham City.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't actually expand much outside of Gotham City. So, I mean, I'm sure that if the globe was a part of the comic, that he would be thinking globally. And I think technically he is thinking globally because that is his globe.
Well, if you do get into, like, Batman from the Justice League, then yeah, that's true. Because it is Batman who does create, who creates the Justice League space station, which is part of them. Monitoring everything.
Well, same
and
time
he is
going with
also responsible for the Justice League.
Same time going with the Richie Rich guys starting up the organizations, League or the Avengers technically have their whole, base of operations set up through Iron Man more or less. It changes over the years, but that's where it all starts. So
the question
Well, I
remains:
think it's
what makes Iron
Shield,
Man or
right.
Batman better than the other?
maybe I'm gonna go with personality. Because Batman always broods, he keeps to himself, he puts on the persona of being a, rich playboy, but secretly, he doesn't want any of that, really. Whereas Tony Stark, he's willing to actually socialize with the people, be the face out there to say, hey, I'm helping you guys.
At the same time, doesn't that put more people in danger? Because he associates with them, so then they know Iron Man is associating with this person.
Well,
Whereas Batman... Other than everyone knowing who he is, because he can't keep his secret. Other than that, I mean, it's like, okay, who does Batman socialize with? Nobody.
Wait, hold up. But when Batman tells someone his secret, that puts them in way more danger than the millions of people that associate with Tony Stark. I mean, everyone would be a victim in the sense that anyone he ever meets could be a victim, whereas Batman could tell 5 people, and then as soon as his enemies found out he told those 5 people are dead or imprisoned or tortured.
Okay, those 5 people.
And the reason I go with my point is simply with the fact that, Iron Man can actually work better with the team. He can actually work and cooperate with his teammates of the Avengers way better than Batman could with his team of the League, because he doesn't trust any of them.
And there's actually an entire story arc where he pretty much destroys the League.
Doom, that's what it's called, right?
Because I forget who it is, but somebody actually gets a hold of all of Batman's countermeasures against the entire League.
I want to say it was Darkseid or Luthor, I don't remember who. But yeah, pretty much, he has something set for all, a weakness for all of them. Has it all set in his belt. Pretty much anytime they go crazy, he's got it set. Iron Man, he's like, I don't need to worry about that. even though half the Avengers are reformed bad guys, he doesn't worry about that at all.
But at the same time, doesn't that mean that Batman is thinking ahead? Because if someone does get taken over, then it'd be better to have a way to take them out. Whereas when the Avengers, say like, what if Thor suddenly decided to just start killing people? How are they going to take him out?
Or like when Ultron takes over Iron Man's suit.
Yeah.
That has happened before, I know.
And then he had to go and hide and create countermeasures that could have been in place if he were thought like Batman.
Yeah.
It is true that because Iron Man is so public, it makes him a lot more susceptible to
Being
people.
attacked.
It
Yeah.
does make him into a target.
And then there's that. He's a target. They know usually where he is, so they could just bomb the area or something. Whereas with Batman, how are you going to target Batman when you don't know who he is?
Whereas if it was Dr. Manhattan, he would just destroy everyone.
There you go.
We've come full circle.
Valid point, sir. Valid point.
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan, problem solved. It's all dead. No need to worry.
I like how that just came full circle right there.
Right.
In my business, that's called a callback.
Alright, so we've come quite a ways in this whole debate, so we figured out, have we come to some kind of conclusion who the best is then?
Still Green Lantern.
We actually never heard you make any more points for Green Lantern.
Yeah, it's mostly been between Batman and Iron Man.
Yeah, he's...
And Dr. Manhattan.
With Manhattan getting
I'm
on top,
pretty
she
sure
just-
Deadpool
Getting
is
destroyed.
just awesome, so.
I don't know, you guys haven't tossed
What if
any
we all
arguments
came
my
against each
way.
other? Like, what if all of them were
If
in a
they
room?
all fought,
Yeah, who would win?
Dr. Manhattan.
Okay, let me throw this out
Are
to
you
you.
suggesting role playing?
Actually, I don't know, because Dr. Manhattan, he said his power is like, what, a nuclear blast?
Well,
Guess what? Green Lantern has survived those with his
Hey,
power.
Okay, let me-
He can do, but remember what he did to Rorschach? He just like exploded him.
Because he let him.
Let me throw this your way, Shawn, okay? Let's say Batman's in a suit. Let's say Iron Man is in a suit. They still have the money to be able to get new stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have your ring. You have no other way of getting a ring, do you? Because without that ring, you have no powers or anything. So what do you do in that case, huh?
Yeah.
See, we can go into heroics anytime because it's like, hey, here's $1 million, another suit ready to go. It's like,
Alright.
Oh, so therefore you're taking away your own argument because you're saying if you strip everybody down to
Exactly.
their person,
Then
but you
Deadpool
take
would
away.
totally win. Just saying.
Yeah, because well, no Manhattan.
No.
Well, if you strip him down to his person, which is still the Doctor from before, you take away the powers, and then it's just basically.
The only super ability that Deadpool has is that he gained from Wolverine at some point, which I don't remember when.
I think
Yeah,
during the
yeah,
Weapon
yeah.
X procedures and
Yeah,
whatnot.
he-
Right. His super healing powers, but that's it. I mean, other than that, he's just a ridiculously trained mercenary.
What I'm just trying to say, though, is that, we still have the ability to do stuff with, like, the funds and the resources we have, whereas, Green Lantern, once that ring's gone, they got nothing.
Well, but he is still backed by his willpower, which is an inherent trait within himself. So therefore, if you have the will to do anything, then you can conquer the world.
But
How's that gonna help him take down Iron Man?
Hey, you know what? Just some small people with, enough conviction have been able to take down armies. All right? So, just based off his tenacity and will, he will never give up. Can you say that to Batman and Iron Man when Iron Man runs back to the bottle? Or when Batman goes to brood in his little cave?
When he gets a little depressed, he's like, I don't want
When
to
he gets
fight anymore.
angsty? I mean, come on. If he gets upset, if he sees somebody else he loves die, he's just gonna go cry in his cave like a teenage girl.
For like
and Iron
3
Man
years.
is
Like
same
3
thing.
years.
He's gonna be like, I'm gonna go drink.
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
like
then
how-
he's worthless.
I like how the guy who drinks the most in here is making the argument against the alcoholic.
I'm Irish. What do you want? I know the downfalls of drinking. All right, I
That's why he
understand what
hit
that will
Iron
do
Man.
to Tony Stark.
No going back to the bottle stuff. Whereas Deadpool, he gets a little pissed off. He just kills some more people. Maybe bad people.
Or
I
he
don't
breaks
know.
the fourth wall and just talks to the audience.
Yes, he does.
Or to himself somehow.
Taunt button. Which is his taunt in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Mhm. And his launcher is Shoryuken, which could be to his favor because he does have infinite knowledge of these other universes that do not cross with his.
Of course, I believe I read somewhere there's actually a theory where everything fictional is actually within itself its own universe, but that's a whole other bullshit
Well,
argument.
that's what is that? Was it Tommy Reardon universe
I
or whatever
think
that is?
that's what that is, yeah.
The little autistic kid from St. Elsewhere.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
you know exactly what
No,
I'm
I
talking
know what
about.
you're talking about. I saw that episode of The Escapist too. So what you're telling me is that Deadpool is that little autistic kid?
Yes, he's the little autistic kid.
He's that little autistic kid that grew up to kill people.
Well, that little autistic kid got severely deformed and decided to kill people. It's fine. It happens all the time.
I like it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
I could still see that becoming a better love story than Twilight.
His love of killing people?
Yes.
Ooh, fan fiction, ready to be written.
I'm not gonna read that.
Well, that's a joke.
So I don't know if we still have anyone who's come out on top. I mean, based on personality, Green Lantern, because he's not gonna go back to the bottle or go brood or go nuke something.
Like I
or
said,
go
he's
murder
overcome the bottle. Okay, Tony's back on.
But he goes back
For
to
now.
I'm really glad you guys don't actually know Green Lantern's mythos, because otherwise you would just be destroying that. When he gets problem, he's not going to kill people or go back to the bottle.
I could go into Parallax, all the Hal Jordan stuff, but you're doing Kyle Rayner. I don't know enough about Kyle Rayner. I know the
That's
other
true.
two better.
That's true.
It sucks.
So if you're doing him, and wasn't he like the second?
Yeah.
Wasn't that back when the ring still had that weakness, and when they still had to recharge the ring?
It was until like they brought in like the actual embodiments of the rings, which each one had their own. Like there's like the entire color spectrum of the ring had their own like basically persona that lived inside the ring. Like there was Parallax, which was the giant insect, and for the Yellow Lanterns, I forget the red, the blue, or the Indigo tribe.
They're all bug-like things. So.
No, actually, Ion, the one for willpower, is like a giant whale. So yeah, I think one's an octopus. It might be the one for love.
It would make sense.
That wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
Well, especially if they're Japanese. But... Are you really looking it up on your phone now?
All right, so I guess
looking up tentacle porn on her phone.
No, she's looking up Kyle Rayner on the phone to give her arguments against me.
I'm just gonna go with Green Lantern has a crappy costume. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I think the only reason it's so bad is because we remember the one from the
Costume
movie. That was really
ever.
bad.
Yeah, the one from the movie was bad. I don't want to talk about the movie. That's Plus, that's Hal Jordan. I'm talking about Kyle Rayner. All right, so what's the arguing now? Are we gonna argue something?
We have to think of something else to bring up against somebody.
All right, fine. You were talking about the angsty thing and the going back to the bottle thing. I will go into something I've mentioned on a podcast before, just to tear down my own character. I know. That's how confident I am.
Actually, we've all kind of torn down our own characters in some way, except for Aaron.
All right. One of the first things when
he brought it on me.
One of the first things when Green Lantern first got his ring and he still didn't know how to actually charge his ring. There was a person let out of called Major Force who was let out from a government facility and actually to try and get the ring from Kyle Rayner. And Major Force, Kyle wasn't at home, but his girlfriend was. And Major Force basically killed his girlfriend with his bare hands and shoved her into the fridge, which has become like having a girlfriend of a superhero die in such a brutal way has actually become a term that's just called being put into the fridge. Is whenever a superhero's girlfriend dies in a brutal way, it goes back to that.
See, I thought that was a reference to the Indiana Jones nuking the fridge bullshit.
No.
Okay.
No. As far as I know, it's from this.
Okay.
But
this would make more sense.
Yeah, but anyways, Kyle came home and found this and got so pissed off that Major Force, who is someone supposed to be invincible like Superman, he actually put him in an electric chair and then proceeded to electrocute him over and over and over and over again until the cops came and took him.
Ouch.
You know, I have to say,
so he does have a vindictive side.
I would probably do that too, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, where are we sitting at here? We're at about 40 minutes-ish. Should we go ahead and try to declare a winner and then move on to the next one here?
Well, I don't think we should really decide a winner from here because each of us is going to vote for someone different.
I'm not. I say Green Lantern wins. Screw you.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, how about this then? We won't declare a winner here, even though we're all sort of on the side that he probably put up the best argument. Also because you knew the most about your character.
Yeah.
None of us knew anything about Kyle Rayner at all.
I know.
But okay, so we'll have this then. Anyone who's listening to the podcast here, go ahead and leave comments. Vote who you think the best one is. Hopefully, we'll actually get votes for this one, like the last time we had a vote going on.
Yeah.
And we'll see who the best hero is.
Do we want to have closing arguments? Closing statements?
Yeah, let's go do some closing statements while we're
Sure.
getting here. I went first last time, so let's have someone else go first.
Batman.
Come on, Dr. Manhattan.
All right.
Or Batman, or whatever you want
Dr.
to
Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan. Both of you
Yes.
closing arguments together.
Motherfucking bats. Motherfucking nukes.
And motherfucking Hattons. Whatever those are.
And doctors.
And
And doctors.
And a cave.
And
What else can you
a
ask
cave
for?
of angst.
A cave of angst that could be built on another planet. To angst somewhere else.
So no one can see your angst.
All right, there's a good closing.
That's your
statement.
closing argument?
Yes.
A place where you can go and write bad poetry.
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan.
Alright. Kyle Rayner.
Poem.
Yeah, come on, GL.
I like those initials.
Yeah, yes. How about that? Best initials ever.
Good luck.
GL. Yeah, good luck. And he's green. GL, good luck, green, 4-leaf clover. Boom.
What?
Okay, you motherfucking
That was a
Irishman.
stretch.
Yeah,
And he can make them with his thing too. Luckiest
you're pushing it
superhero
there.
ever.
I don't think if you make a 4-leaf clover, you're lucky.
What?
You have to find one. You have to find one, buddy.
Okay, well, Deadpool?
Deadpool is the best hero only solely because he's an anti-hero. Because if you strip all of these other motherfuckers down, then you're gonna get, a whiny guy in a cave and some guy who's gonna go back to the bottle. If you strip Green Lantern of his ring, then he's gonna have no power whatsoever except his willpower.
Bullshit argument.
and then you stripped the Doctor of his doctorhood, and what does he have?
A swinging wham.
He does not have a medical license, that's what he
He
is.
still doesn't have pants, is what he doesn't have.
If you take his power away, he's still a scientist.
Without
Scientist.
pants.
He's a naked scientist. So what?
I feel like the title of this podcast should just be "We All Hate Dr. Manhattan."
Whereas Deadpool
We
is
gained up on him for a good reason.
Deadpool is still a mercenary. He still has guns, and he can
And
still
swords.
and he can still hurt people. And if he decided to become good, which he's tried to become good, and then it failed. Probably, because of all you other motherfuckers. Then he could become good and still have power. Just saying.
Alright, well,
Go Deadpool.
okay, well, closing arguments for me then.
He's got the little dog.
Sure, Tony Stark's had his problems, but, at least you can, go to him as a source of heroics, unlike, Batman or Manhattan, who kind of go off on their own thing.
If he doesn't go back to the bottle,
And,
That's the thing. You gotta get him out of the bottle.
and he's willing to stick to the planet Earth and kind of safeguard that, whereas Kyle Rayner could be anywhere, in the galaxy.
He's powerful enough to save anything.
But that's my thing. He's a hero who's at least here, and one you can turn to on most occasions.
Unless he's drinking.
Which isn't often anymore. Okay. Okay.
I like that our only argument against Tony Stark is that he's an alcoholic.
Oh, and that people can still steal his technology.
Yeah.
That's true.
What if you went to someone you thought was Tony Stark, but was someone else using this technology to look like him?
Are there any closing arguments here? How are we still debating shit?
What happens when Don Cheadle steals his
I
expertise?
feel like this needs like a number 2, like a couple weeks from now when y'all can study Green Lantern. We'll just be like, yep, he's the best.
We'll come back after the break and just be like, oh hey, so we did some research.
All right, here's all these things against Green Lantern. We'll see how this goes now.
And then I'm gonna change my answer to Daredevil. Just saying. Yep.
2 words. Ben Affleck.
2 words. Ryan Reynolds.
Shh.
2 words or 3 words. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, he got 3 names. Just like the serial killers. Not just like serial killers, just like
Assassins.
assassinations.
To be fair,
Presidential
Junior's a
assassination.
suffix, not actually a name.
Yeah,
Actually, it
changed
is
to Thor.
Still known by 3 titles, like Lee Harvey Oswald, Mark David Chapman, James Earl Jones, or James Earl Ray. James Earl Ray.
James Earl Jones is amazing. Come on.
Amazing.
The best assassin ever. Oh, that's kind of true. Darth Vader. Just
Very
saying.
true.
Yeah.
True. Destroyed entire planets.
Alright, well that is all for the hero debate. Tune in again, because I think we might have to switch this up for the next one and do a debate on who the best villain is now. Yeah,
I'm
that...
not changing my answer.
I'd say I could go with Dr. Manhattan again. Everything.
No.
So tune in again for the villains